Dr. Vergara is the seventh child. He is the son of Jose Vergara, a medical doctor, and Luisa Sivog Vergara, a nurse. Jose Vergara started an orphanage after World War II in Mandaluyong called Welfareville, where Dr. Vergara and the rest of his siblings grew up. As a teenager, he was fascinated with photographs. His father brought him along to trips between his classes at the UP Integrated School in Diliman. Everywhere they went, the young Dr. Vergara took photos of people, places, and of course, plants. This resulted in a series of books cataloging different varieties of ornamental plants. Botanists describing plants accompany descriptions with illustrations to depict the shape of leaves, flowers, and stems. His constant drive to take photos is inspired by a belief that words and illustrations are inherently incomplete, that they can never accurately capture what the eye can see. As one of the youngest siblings, Dr. Vergara was raised mostly by his older sister, Betty, Lucy, and Belen, who taught him how to cook, do household chores, and instilled in him a so-called Vergara brand of diligence and perseverance. But it was his youngest sister, Cecilia, with whom Dr. Vergara learned how to dance, a skill that would prove significant and formative in his early teenage years. When Dr. Vergara was in grade school, World War II had reached the Philippines, directly changing his life. Dr. Vergara and Cecilia were then part of a child dance troupe entertaining American military servicemen with cultural dances like tinikling and pandango sa ilaw. He continued dancing throughout adulthood, performing in cultural shows in the United States, when in graduate school and during his years at RRI. Now let's go to his works, achievements, and accomplishments that made a change in our society. Many of which is that he is an associate plant physiologist in 1961. On the 4th of September, the Philippine Department of Science and Technology, or the DOST, and the National Academy of Science and Technology, NAST, awarded Benito Vergara conferment in recognition of his scientific and technological achievements on the physiology of the rice plant and his work to bring rice science and technology in the popular consciousness, and was held in Malacanang. He developed the standard screening procedure for flood tolerance, allowing to further screen thousands of genetic lines. Today, screening for flood tolerance continues, and scientists are still crossing breeds and using newer techniques based on the procedures Dr. Vergara designed. Dr. Vergara's research program was instrumental to the development of two types of high-yielding types of rice plants. He also writes books on ornamental plants and has written 14 booklets for the Philippine Science Heritage Center. His last years at IRRI, Dr. Vergara pursued his dream of a rice museum, a venue dedicated to preserving and promoting the science and culture of rice and the rice-growing world. Dr. Vergara conceived of and built the Rice World Museum and Learning Center to educate the public about different varieties, how rice is produced, and how cultures around the world are shaped by rice consumption and agriculture. It remains one of the top destinations for student science field trips, featuring ancient rice farming tools, short films, and rice grains and hulls dating back to 2500 BC. It also includes exhibits on women on rice, farmers' clothing, and rice biotechnology. On his retirement, promoting science and serving the community, it has been almost 20 years since Dr. Vergara retired from IRRI, and a career's worth of work has been accomplished and continues in his later years. You might think, how did it change society? With his research on rice, he was able to develop farming techniques that can protect rice during floods and cold climates. He was able to increase the yield of rice when harvesting, which can help the society food problems. Did it challenge the previous paradigm? How? His works indeed challenged the previous paradigm. He created new and improved techniques in farming and how to increase the yield of rice when harvesting. He made it much easier for people to do their jobs, and most especially for the farmers. Comparing it to the previous paradigm, people always did it hands-on and did it with a longer process. Now, because of him, it is faster and easier.
Dr. Vergara. We hope that you're happy in heaven and salute to your incredible contributions.